Hi, I'm Nico, and I'm here with...
Donovan Nguyen, who just got first place at the LA Regionals today, January 3rd, 2026.
Yep, got the deck box, the mat, and a sweet audio cup.
Yep, it's a cup that plays music. Yeah, but anyways, yeah.
What'd you play today?
Today I played Primite Dracotail.
Oh, how was the Primite engine?
The Primite engine, honestly, it really carried him. it overperformed. It was so good. And honestly, it did pretty well because most people can play through a Dracotail board, but it's really hard to play through a Dracotail board that's honestly supplemented by the Primite engine.
Got it.
Not only do you crack their, can they not crack your board, but you also just get so much follow-up.
Alright, let's get into the deck profile.
Alright, so starting out, there's going to be the main deck Dracotail monsters. There's 3 Malulu, 3 Lucius, 3 Femena. Those are going to be your bread and butter staples for the engine. And I was like, post side, I often like to cut down Malulu. I find the deck maybe has a few too many normal summons between this and the Primite engine. So I like cutting them down to 2 post side just to make sure, you don't break on too many of these because he's great, she's better, and this is best. And then I also have 1 Frixel, 1 Pan, and shit, where'd the Arugula go? Where'd my Arugula go? Oh, and 1 Arugula. Pan's one of because, again, too many normal summons and she's not super great. I like 1 and 1 because there's honestly a lot of monsters it's really monster heavy, and Femena is not like, it's good, but it's not necessarily the star of this show. And you don't want to run more than this, and he's just up to preference. I personally prefer running 1 and 2 because I hate when he bricks me in the game. And then as for the Primate engine, I'm only running 2 Aether Barrel because you'd much rather open, I think, the Lordly Load than the Aether Barrel. And again, too many normal summons. And my vanilla monster of choice is actually Dark Magician. I know, right? This is a fancy, shiny quarter-century one. And you use him for spheres. You link 1 Imduck and then you make spheres with him. And by himself, he and a dragon just makes Dragoons. And Dragoons is an extra negate, which is never a bad thing, especially since most decks in the format have a really hard time having that. And then for my hand, that's it for my engine. For traps, or hand traps, I got 1 Magnemite. He just searches a lot of dragons in here. He's good. Triple Fua, triple Droll, double Nib, triple Ash, and double Veiler. I was like, this is just my hand trap lineup. I still like Nib, even though honestly, it didn't resolve too many times today, but when it resolved, it basically won me the game. From a point that otherwise would not be playable. And then Veilers are still good because I like just running hand traps that are able to loop off our Valiant and playing it again. And then Fua's good because it's Fua. Drolls I feel like are almost a staple for this format now because there's so many decks that get shut down by it and you kind of need to resolve it. And then Ash because it's Ash. And for the spell count, we have triple Rahu Dracotail, triple Kitu. This is just your main bread and butter for the Dracotail engine, so of course you max out on those, they're just so good. And then I run triple Lordly Load and 1 Drill Beam for the rest of the Primite pack. This right here, absolutely fantastic. The fact that you can just do that, play this, add this if you need your normal summons, or not just be able to add this and summon Dark Magician at the end of your combo to kind of insulate your board against most hand traps is fine. Because you don't actually care about the monsters on your board, you care more about the back row. And this, protecting the rest of your back row, is just very useful. And then also 1 Prosp, because it helps me dig, fixes a little bit of the consistency of the deck, and it's a good flex spot. And then we have, for the traps, it's just Sting and Flame. Horn is post side.
Got it. Alright, let's move on to the side deck.
Okay. Side or extra?
Side.
Okay. As for side, there's double Cerulean because I don't have the room to fit all 3. Triple Lancia, which honestly didn't come up at all today, but that's also just because I didn't Against the Malice player, I didn't open it and I still won the match, and then I didn't run a Lunalite. And then there's Triple Crow, which is, I like personally because it's very flexible as a hand trap. Being able to target spells as well as monsters just makes the deck very flexible, and go against K9, being able to target the Lupus on your turn pretty much stops your board from getting broken. It's very useful. And being able to remove the Lupus from the rest of the game is just also very nice. And then Super Poly, which just was very useful against all the Mitsurugi variants. Being able to just crack their board is nuts, especially when it's pure, and their end board is just like double Mitsu plus an Omni Negate or something. This single-handedly clears the whole board. And then there's Duster, 2 Dragon's Mine, and the 3rd Dracotail Trap. Let's keep Duster for generic back row removal, even though the deck is already pretty good against generic back row removal. It comes up. And then Dragon's Mine was honestly just great. It's a replacement for Judgment in the deck, because this thing is just really useful, because you have so many things that are 2,500 status, like the Arthalion, the Dark Magician. Those 2 are the main things, but the fact that you pretty much have those on your board at any point makes this trap super good. And then the 3rd trap is Dracotail Horn, which I personally never felt like I needed to set more than 2 traps at a time. Like in the times it came up, I don't think the extra horn and the extra draw didn't matter. And it definitely felt like a win more card. So I kept it post side for going first, just so I'll have a better going first matchup.
And let's move on to the extra.
And then the extra, we can keep it over here.
Got it.
For the extras, we got Triple Arthalion, Double Gulamo. This is the 5 ratio that most people run. Secretarian, Mysterian, which I'll be honest, I didn't summon it much today, but he has his uses, I suppose. Super Poly targets in Garura and Mud Dragon, and Dragoon for the Primite search. And then for the links, there's Little Knight, Spheres, Imdux, so you can go Dark Magician your Spheres bridge because he's a dragon. Dragon Spirit of Light, because he's your spellcaster bridge into dragons. And Typhon, who's just your 1 XCs. Good for breaking boards and setting up with traps and random things like the Primite Joker. And yeah, that is my deck profile today. I ended up getting first at Swiss after 9 rounds with, what did I say, like 390 people?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Any notable matchups throughout the day, like funniest matchup or most odd game state?
I do have to say, I think the oddest game state I ran into was my 7th round when I was playing against Mitsuyami. My game 3, my opponent Peruvia'd me, and rather than commit to anything else, I kind of just activated Lordly Load, summoned the Dark Magician, set the Drill Beam, and set 2 more, set Super Poly and 1 more trap, and setting Dragon's Mine, and he double evenly me twice, and I negated both of those. And then I was able to Super Poly his Mitsu combo, so we couldn't play past that. It was honestly a really interesting game state. And yeah, that's pretty much the event that happened today. None of my matchups felt very... There were definitely some bad matchups. I think like one of my worst matchups is K9. But it's not impossible to win provided they either... mistime their things, or they just don't open what they do, because the decks are kind of inconsistent. And yeah, I think that's the extent of it.
Alright, any closing shoutouts to anyone?
Shout out to Team Greetings, who's a local backpack vendor. Shout out to Joyful Toad, the store we're at right now. They don't do Yu-Gi-Oh much anymore, but they do One Piece, Pokemon, and mostly Magic. And the owner, honestly, is just a really good person. Even though he doesn't do Yu-Gi-Oh as much anymore, I still support him wholeheartedly as a store. And let's see, there's the Card Addiction people in Fullerton. I was like, I've been going to them forever. There's, I guess, the Yu-Gi-Oh club at UCI. Haven't been there in a hot minute, but they're still around. And to all the great friends I caught up with today after just not being at a regional for a while. And yeah, I think that's the extent of it. Oh, and my carpool friends, Nico and Ryan, who, what do you call it? Yeah, carpooled with me for regionals. Sorry, they scrubbed out pretty early, but they had to stay until the end because, well, I made it all the way to round 9 undefeated.
It's fine. We were cheering you on.
Yeah, and so, yeah, that's pretty much a deck profile. Well, I don't know. Am I supposed to say like, comment, and subscribe?